Welcome to this video, Research Skills for Primary Students. Today we'll be reviewing 5 essential steps for research skills. Step 1. Asking questions. Step 2. Using resources. Step 3. Recording information. Step 4. Critical thinking. And Step 5. Citing resources. Keywords are very important to research, especially when asking questions. By brainstorming and developing keywords that are related to our topic, we can use those to ask essential questions that will give us a deeper conceptual understanding of our topic. When we are writing questions, it is important to go through the checklist of what makes a good question. First, is your question open? Will the answer give you a lot of information? Or will it just give you a one-word or short answer? Is your question important to your central idea or topic? Will this question give you helpful information? Is your question interesting enough to investigate? Is it answerable? A good researchable question will have one or many answers. Some questions we cannot answer, and even though they are helpful in some ways, they won't always be valid for research. Where many primary students struggle is finding information that is accessible and available. Think critically when creating questions to ask, where might I find the answer to this? With research, you're often in a limited time frame. Make sure your question can be answered in the time that you are given. A primary source gives you information from a first-hand account. You can get them from interviews, news reports, photos, art, novels and literature, and autobiographies. Secondary sources attempt to describe or explain primary sources. You can use books, many different websites, and encyclopedias. When searching for sources online, keywords can help you to find sources of good information. Try to avoid writing full questions, as keywords will help the browser to find you the best sources. Using keywords on kid-friendly web browsers will help you to find information that is accessible and relevant to kids. When we find sources of information that are useful to our topic, it is helpful for us to record that information. One way to do that is by taking notes. Taking notes is about finding and writing down important pieces of information. Notes help us to understand the information we find, organize it, and make connections. Notes can help us to answer our research questions. There are many ways to take notes. One method of note-taking is by using a structure called a Cornell note. Cornell notes have 3 sections, as well as a section to write your information source. The section on the left is for you to record keywords and questions you have while you are reading. The section on the right is for supporting details. Here you can write short notes and create diagrams and drawings. The bottom is for a short summary of your information. For my research, I'm using this secondary source, the National Geographic, to answer my essential question, what are wild places? And by quickly reading through the site, I can see that I can get a lot of information. As I'm reading, I can start to add to my Cornell notes. And the first thing I see is that wild places are categorized into 6 different biomes: aquatic, desert, forest, grassland, tundra, 2 types of aquatic. These are all keywords that I can write down. I can also begin to add details to the supporting details category. Critical thinking is where we carefully analyze facts to make a judgment. When we research, especially online, we will come across many sources. Thinking critically about these sources can allow us to evaluate to see if we trust them and that they are reliable. Finding sources from credible places can be tricky, but you can ask 5 critical thinking questions.
We will use these 2 websites, one about raccoons and one about the Pacific Northwest tree octopus, to help us with our critical thinking questions.
1. Who is the author?
In the first site, there isn't one author, but it's written by PBS, which is the public broadcast service. In the second website, we can see that there is one author, and this is a blog, which is not a very reputable source.
2. Is this evidence or opinion?
In the first site about raccoons, we see that there are lots of facts about raccoons. In the second site, there are a lot of facts, but it is a blog, which tells me it might be somebody's opinion.
3. What is the date of the source?
Often it is very important that our sources are up to date, and these 2 sources seem to be written or updated in the last 10 years.
4. Is the publisher reputable?
With our first website, it's published by PBS, which is a huge corporation in the United States of America, and it's publicly funded, which tells us it's a very reliable resource. With the second site, it's a blog. It's not connected to any school or organization that's reputable, and so that this tells us it's probably not a very reliable resource.
And 5. Is this source biased?
When a site is biased, it means it favors one side over another. The raccoon site isn't biased because it's just telling us facts about raccoons. But with the Northwest tree octopus, it's actually a very biased site because it's not favoring the facts. This animal doesn't actually exist, and this is a fake website.
When we are researching, it is important that we keep track of our sources.
You can keep track of the resources that you've used through paper or Cornell notes, or you could use online sources that are great for keeping track of lots of different sites.
You can later use these sources to create a bibliography using APA, MLA, or Harvard style, depending on what your school uses. I hope this guide to research skills has been useful for you, and hope that it helps you on your learning journey.